Kennedy is back home from the horse show. She's back to her stall with her nice little window that she likes to, drop all of her hay out of. She will be out with her friends this evening. That's the beauty of being so close to the show facility. But it was a great day. We showed in the level 1, the amateur and the senior Western Pleasure. It was a great way to close out the show. We ended up as amateur Western Pleasure circuit champions, and we were second across the board in the novice amateur. So here's our go. She was such a good girl today, and I'm so happy that she's home. Hope y'all enjoy. I did go in today with some goals, some personal goals as a rider and a showman. Every time I swing a leg over Kennedy at a horse show, I do feel like we become more of a team. We get more in sync. But at this show specifically, I went into today wanting to have a softer right lead. I wanted to work on my own seat because I get kind of perchy where I get a little bit more forward in my pelvis and I don't truly sit back enough. I also wanted to end on a really good note with Kennedy by schooling her in the senior class, which I did. So she has a tendency not to want to walk because she anticipates when we turn around that she's going to lope off. And so that is something that I wanted to work on as well, is just making her walk. So we went through our first class, which was the level 1 amateur Western Pleasure, and we were second under all the judges. We had a very good go, and I felt like I had an even better go with her than I did at the Roan World show. Honestly, out of the entire horse show, the Roan World was my worst go. Anyway, the second go, I kind of took a little bit of risks and tried pushing her out a little bit more, but it's a tricky thing, balancing having a soft horse while also pushing them more forward, especially with Kennedy, because she kind of gets a little bit marchy is what I would call it. In the extended trot, I did take her off the rail and say, let's do it. Because if I'm going to try to be flashy and push her out at the big shows we're going to soon, I needed to go ahead and try it today. And I was happy with the results I got. I thought she looked really nice and fluid, and I think her extended trot is actually something that sets her apart from other horses. In my second amateur class, I did feel like I had a soft left lead, but then when I turned around and did the right lead, where I did kind of push her on a little bit more for a little bit more pace, we got a little too much. Not here, it was down the line. We got a little too much and she got a little bit away from my leg. And so when I took her back into the senior class, you'll see here in a second, I did train on her a bit. So I decided, the entire senior class, I'm going to two-hand her when needed. I'm going to lift my hand when needed to just make sure she's listening to my legs and my feet and that she's waiting on me for cues, because our next horse show is the NSBA World Championship show in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And so it was important to me to just end on a note where I felt like we were preparing her for that horse show, because at the NSBA World Show, I don't get to show her multiple times like I am at this horse show. I got to show her three different days at this horse show, and that's just not going to be the case. It's definitely more of a, hey, you're showing up for this one big shebang kind of deal. So we need to prepare differently. And so I took her into two hands when needed, tried to achieve as soft as a lope as possible, tried to achieve as flat-footed of a walk as possible while she was allowing me to put my legs on her at the walk without trying to lope off. I do think Kennedy looks okay going a little bit more forward at the walk than other horses. I feel like, I like the more forward, relaxed look. I don't like it when it's like a creepy, crawly walk. And so I don't mind her going a little bit more forward. She just has to be accepting of my leg pressure without trying to just take over and lope off whenever she wants. So I did make her kind of wait, hold off. I took her off the rail so that I wasn't really bothering anybody and getting in their way. And then I felt like we had a pretty soft lope off from there. And for the right lead, which every horse is stronger to one lead than the other, I decided I'm just going to lift my hand. I'm not going to jerk her. I'm not going to be hard on her. I'm just going to lift my hand and get her in my leg, like by holding her with my hand and then pushing with the leg at the same time. It kind of told her, hey, lock in, So I did feel like we achieved a softer lope there. And then I had to hop off and present the Super Horse Award, which was sponsored by VS Code Red, which was an amazing ending to the horse show. So I hope you enjoyed. I had a very productive show that was amazing and fun, and I can't wait to do it again.